here to talk about getting your message out there. You could do this, and we could finish up the talk pretty quickly if you chose to do that, and it's a really good option to do that. But I suppose what I'm going to do is talk to you from my own experience how to get an idea out there. Most of us and all of the people who are speaking here have started something, but they actually have had zero money in their back pocket to get it off the ground. So how do you create a story that's going to spread? If I was to say to you, marketing, what would you think? Marketing, schmarketing, that's about doing a PR campaign, a fancy TV ad. It's all about that kind of flash kind of stuff. That's not for me. Marketing departments are for big organizations. Wrong. The kind of marketing I am talking about is the kind of marketing that gets political parties into power. The kind of marketing that gets presidents into the White House. The kind of marketing that gets people to donate thousands and thousands of euros of their of money or time to a cause. That's the kind of marketing I'm talking about. The kind of marketing I'm talking about determines who stays and who goes. So essentially, marketing influences the markets. In the old days, marketing used to be about, I'm going to tell you what product is good for you and what product you should buy. But now marketing is about telling a story. It's about telling a story that connects with somebody, so much so that that person will take that story and make it their own and spread it on and on and on. Let me give you an example. So I could tell you a story about Hireland. Hireland is an idea. It's one of a number of initiatives that people are trying to do to try and address unemployment in this country, because yawn, there's 400,000 people unemployed. Now, are any of you going to talk about me and my story and what I've said after me doing that? No. So let's try this. Can I ask you, what's your name? Martin, okay, so I'm Lucy. Hi, Martin. Do you know anybody who's been affected by unemployment? Yeah, so do I. And in January 2011, I was sitting at my kitchen table with my neighbours because my son's music teacher had just made the announcement to say he was emigrating because her girlfriend, who's also a music teacher, had lost her job. I got so angry that night, I just decided the time had come to do something about this. So I went into my class the next day. I teach not-for-profit marketing, and I said, will you help? I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to try and take on this unemployment problem. That's the story you might tell in the pub to somebody and say, do you know what, I met this girl today. She's completely crackers. She thinks she's going to take on unemployment, but hey, this is how it started. So that's what I'm talking about when I say tell a story. What is your story? How is it going to connect with the person you're telling it to? Because unless you make that connection, unless they really feel, yeah, I want to tell that story and pass it on and on and on, you're not going to get to the next stage. Okay, so that's number one. I have 6. By the way, will you tell me, Sean, when I get to 8 minutes, because otherwise we'll be here all night. So that's number one. I only have 6 tips, by the way, so that's number one. Number 2, there's probably about, I'd say 70% of the people in this room who are probably thinking, shit, I was told to turn my mobile phone off. I'm meant to be texting somebody at the moment, this, that, the other. Every individual in this room, every individual in the world has 50 or 60 things going on at any one moment in time in their head. So when you're trying to get somebody to remember your message, keep it simple. Keep it really, really simple. Pare it back to one thing. In Hireland's case, the message is so simple, it's hire one person. We will hire one at a time, we will rebuild this economy. It's all about hire one. The Obama campaign was, yes, we can. They managed to galvanize an entire nation around this notion of, yes, we can. The UNICEF campaign, €1, €1, €1. Think about it. If you can really, really crystallize your message to one simple one-liner that people will take away, you have a much greater chance of success. Again, by way of example. Okay, I want to do a little experiment with you. You're going to catch these. Oh, you got one. Normally, nobody catches any. Let's try it again with one item. Okay, be really focused, no pressure, catch it. No. One message, one thing, it's easier. When you throw a whole ball of things at people, they're scrambling around trying to catch them. One message at a time. You might think you're sounding really boring because you're going on and on and on and on and on, the same thing each time. But your audience isn't. So just remember, keep it simple, one step at a time. Next, break the rules. Time magazine hailed the protester as Person of the Year in 2011. I think Ed Kenny got it this year, didn't he? But hey, we are living in extraordinary times, and we know, all of us in this room know, that the traditional rules that were made are no longer fit for purpose. So, I'm not saying break the law, but I'm saying break the rules. Look at the problem, look at your product, look at your brand, look at it. Whatever it is you're looking to do, look at it differently. Turn it upside down. Challenge the status quo. The world is desperate for people who are looking to challenge the existing systems and look at them differently. Voters are challenging politicians, subordinates are challenging their managers, students are challenging professors, patients are challenging doctors, and kids are challenging companies. We are now living in a time of a total power shift. In the old days, rule breakers were branded as heretics. They got burned at the stake. They were deemed as outcasts. Now they get invited to speak at Davos. The heretics are where you want to be, because they are the people who are changing things, and they are the people who are seen to be really, really visionary and looking at things differently. Start a movement. Now, there's an awful lot of talk of, oh, what's a movement? Movements. Movements are a byproduct of the most basic of human instincts, the urge to merge. That's what they're about. People want to be part of something. Never has the world been more ready for movements than now. They're becoming the new gathering points, whether you want to take on the effects of global unemployment, or whether you want to be in a movement with a small m, which is maybe Lady Gaga's Monsters. Doesn't matter. They're all movements, whether they're a capital M or a small m. Movements are actually how you can reach out to hundreds and then thousands and then hundreds and thousands of people around the world who care about exactly the same thing as you. And thanks to the internet and technology, we can all have those conversations and move together on those issues that we want to tackle. So really, really important. Find an idea on the rise, start a movement. Number 5, embrace evolving technology, and it's already been said here. You absolutely need to be part of the conversations that are happening in their tens of thousands every minute of the day through social networks. The internet, and particularly the rise of social media, has made it easy to find and connect with like-minded people and then organize to take action. You need to be part of those conversations, because if you aren't, it's like the old publishing expression, publish or perish. You need to be there, because if you aren't, somebody else will. Second last, I love Tom Ford, and I love this quote he did. We all know each other, we just haven't been properly introduced. We're all listening to the same music, watching the same movies, and drinking the same vodka at exactly the same time. It's true. The market has recently been revolutionized with the arrival of SOLOMO, which is social, local, and mobile. Now that we can converge all of our social media with all of the conversations and all of the things we're doing and the places we're hanging out into our little mobile phone has completely changed the way we are going to be able to communicate and market our ideas, our thoughts, and our brands. In 2011, there were 465 million smartphones sold. By 2016, that figure is estimated to be 1.5 billion, and by 2020, it's going to be 7.5 billion. Mobile cocooning is going to remain one of the key trends in the next 5 years. So make sure, whatever you do, you're using it and you have a mobile strategy in place. Conversations are happening on their mobile phones, so that's where you need to be. Last, but really importantly, you've just got to be bold. Fortune favors the bold. I think when you are involved in a social startup and you have no money, you actually become completely used to being a complete pest and asking people for stuff. I think when we started Hireland, we had no money when we started Hireland. We had a Facebook page and a budget of €149. We launched after a year in the making with the support of €500,000 worth of pro bono media and marketing and advertising support. That was directly as a result of me banging on doors with what can only be described as annoying persistence. In fact, one very significant media player just gave me the space so I'd go away. You have got to be bold. You have got to just decide. All they can say is no. And as Sean just mentioned there a few minutes ago, 8 months ago, I think the highlight of my boldness in the last 24 months, or on my journey for Hireland at least, has been when myself and a couple of the students who worked on Hireland made an appointment with the editor of the Irish Times, Kevin O'Sullivan, and we went into his office and we said, Hireland imagined how 5,000 jobs might be created through collective action, entrepreneurial thinking, and a belief that this economy can be rebuilt one job at a time. Can you imagine, editor, if we were able to create the future that we all want for this country 10 years from now and serve it up to the nation in a newspaper? Will you print the Irish Times 2023? We'd nothing to lose. And he said yes. It was printed last week, and we got guest contributors, Bono, Bob Geldof, again, completely brass neck, just sending emails, will you write a letter for this, will you be part of this? So all people can do is say no, but if you don't ask, you won't get. So that sums up, I suppose, my elevator pitch as to how to kind of get your message out there. It's a mix of all of the above. Note, I haven't said any about getting big budgets for advertising and marketing, because I know for the most part, startups, like all of you, are going to be either embarking on or already are doing. You simply won't have those big budgets to start. So just try and use some of the tools that we used, because they worked for us. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Lucy. Just one very quick question before you sit down. So one of the things, Hireland is a great story, and it's hugely empowering and positive. One of the things we've definitely heard back at times from the media when we have good stories to tell, whether it be commercial stories, social projects, environmental stories, is that's great, but it's WBD, worthy but dull. Because people seem to like bad news more than good news. How can we crack the media? What is it that Hireland did to change that conversation?
God, that's a good one. I think we twisted the negative media to our advantage, and we went in to speak to the various media houses to say, look, you guys really need to be seen to be part of the solution. We're nobodies, we're just a bunch of students, and we have this bright idea. Will you support it? So I think as well, you need to be, you need to be savvy as to what your marketing outputs are going to be. So if you're asking somebody to donate to you 100,000 euros worth of free media space, what's in it for them? So you need to always go in with the ask for, look, this is going to make you look really good. You're going to be seen to be part of actually something that's really positive. So I think from that point of view, and I think you just have to have fun, because a lot of the time when organisations like ours get that worthy but dull, I suppose, stamp, it's because a lot of people on the other end of it just feel bad that they haven't done stuff and that they aren't part of this, or they aren't as passionate about changing something as you are. So if you actually just go in and have fun and smile and really make them feel that there's going to be a big payoff for them if they actually cooperate with what you want them to do. Either that or just camp up on their doorstep like I did for about 8 months until they pay you to get rid of you. So yeah, that's all, I suppose.
Thank you very much. Lucy Masterson. Thank you.